If you're looking to get shredded for this summer, you're going to want to make sure you stick around to the end of this video, as I'm going to show you some of the most common mistakes I see people make and tell you what you need to do to get that shredded look. So one of the most common mistakes I see people make when it comes to doing a summer shred is not starting in time. Right now, it's around the end of January, and if you're looking to do a summer shred, you basically want to start now or at least very soon. The problem is most people aren't even looking for these kinds of videos until around maybe March or April as the spring starts rolling around. Now, before I talk about why this is an issue, first I want to stress that this is more for typically leaner people, not someone with a lot of weight to lose. So guys maybe somewhere around 12 to 15%, looking to get down to maybe single-ish digits, 10%. Maybe for women around low 20%, trying to get to the high teens, somewhere around there. Don't get too caught up in numbers. And honestly, I've never even known my body fat percentage because it's kind of irrelevant. You're just looking for a look. But if you have much more weight to lose, then we're not talking about summer shred. You're probably talking about next summer. Anyway, there's a few reasons why you want to get started sooner than later. One of them being, honestly, it just usually takes longer than you think, and oftentimes whatever weight you think you need to get a certain look, you actually need to go below that, as the body just holds more body fat than we often realize. Keep in mind too, things are going to come up. Life is going to happen. You're going to hit some speed bumps along the way, and it's unlikely that things are going to go just perfectly according to plan. But not only that, even if you do end up getting as lean as you wanted to by the time your summer's rolling around, problem is now you want to enjoy that summer with more calories. You're going to be going to the beach and wanting to have some margaritas and hanging out with friends and having fun and having more flexibility. And if you diet hard into that time, now your hunger signals are all out of whack, especially if you get too restrictive with things and mentally you're over it. What good does it do to get shredded if you just undo all your hard work right away? And it just takes time for your body to improve its hormones, improve its metabolism, and for you to start feeling better. So if you wait too long to do your cut, you don't have time to get things back into a better place by the time the summer rolls around. And now one of two things happens. Either you're getting well into the summer and you're still trying to cut and you can't even enjoy the time, or you just snuck in and got ready on time, but you feel like crap and you run the risk of undoing your hard work really quick. So remember, the faster you go, the more restrictive you're going to have to be, the harder it is to stick to the plan, the more likely you're going to want to rebel against things. So when you are cutting, you don't want to go too fast. You want to lose somewhere around about 0.5 to 1% of your weight on average per week. And this is not only to preserve your metabolism, your hormones, but also your muscle, because if you want that shredded look, you can't be sacrificing all your muscle to try to get it done faster. You need to do everything you can to hold on to that. The faster you lose, the more likely you are to lose muscle. So sure, you could even do some math and say, okay, I'm gonna lose 1% of my weight on average. Let's say you were 180 pounds and you wanted to get down to about 165. Well, if you lost 1% of your weight on average, at first that would be 1.8. For math simplicity, we'll just say that, but keep in mind, 1% of your weight is less when you weigh less and you're losing weight. But even if you did that math, you could say, okay, it's gonna be about 8 to 9 weeks. Well, again, usually it doesn't go that well. You don't lose the perfect highest amount of weight every single week. More realistically, it's probably gonna be towards the lower end. This is not even considering taking some diet breaks, which is highly recommended. So if it's on the lower end, now you're talking more like 16 to 18 weeks. And it's just like, I swear, however long you think it's gonna take, it's probably gonna take at least double that. So if you're waiting until April and you think it's only gonna take 8 to 10 weeks and it takes 20 weeks, you're well into the summer by the time you even get where you wanna be. Anyways, now that you know you have to give yourself enough time, now let's start putting a plan in place. And what you wanna do is drop around 20 to 25% of your calories from your maintenance calories. If you don't know what this is, what I would do is take the next week or so, continue to eat around the same that you've been eating, and then do an average for the week and see what it looks like. This is gonna probably be your rough maintenance calories, especially if you've been maintaining. Then you can reduce your calories by 20 to 25%. Do not reduce from protein. Keep a high protein diet to help you feel full, to get the benefits of the thermic effect of food, to preserve that muscle mass. So I usually say eat around 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of your body weight, or you could do something simple like 1 gram per pound of a goal weight. That's good enough. You can do more if you like. I'd rather err on the side of too much protein than not enough. Then of course you want to keep up with your training stimulus. Make sure you're training hard in the gym. You can add some additional cardio and you don't want to go crazy. Nothing you want to do here is drastic. Extreme is not the answer, but if you want to add in even simple like half-hour walks most days of the week, or maybe a couple hours of a little bit more moderate pace cardio just to get a little extra calorie burn, that's fine. But the biggest thing is having a plan you put in place, executing that plan, and then you can make adjustments according to how things are going. So within a couple weeks, if you're not seeing any progress, maybe make around a 10% drop in calories again until you start seeing things go, because everything in the beginning is a best guess. And because this isn't going to be a super long diet, you can be a little bit more aggressive here. Just make sure you're not losing too quickly. Now, once you get where you want to be, this is actually when the hardest part begins. Most people think the work is over, but the truth is this is when things usually get even more difficult, because mentally you're probably tired of the dieting, you're probably not feeling very great, your energy is lower, your mood's a little bit worse, you're hungrier, but you need to have a post-diet plan so you don't just lose all your hard work. So at this point is when you start the reverse dieting process. This is when you start bringing your calories back up, and there's many ways to do this. There's so many arguments about whether you should go faster or slower here. It kind of depends. I'll talk about this at the end. The point is you want to start getting them back up and understand that your maintenance calories is a moving target. So while yes, you can just take your calories and go right back to maintenance post diet, but your maintenance calories now are lower than they were when you started your cut. Way less. There's metabolic adaptations beyond just that. But the point is you want to start getting those calories back up. And keep in mind, once you start getting that more shredded look and pretty lean, at the end of your cut, you oftentimes don't even look that great because your muscles are depleted of glycogen. You can look a little flat. You're not really that filled out. And once you start bringing carbs back in and those muscles start filling out with more glycogen and water now you fill out more and your weight may come up a couple pounds, but you actually look better because you look so much more defined. It almost looks like you look leaner and built more muscle just because you're all filled out now. So don't get too tied to that scale, and you'll probably see it come up a little as you start adding calories back in, but also understand sometimes you just aren't going to start feeling much better until you get a little bit more body fat on too. So of course it's a balancing act, and there's pros and cons to a slower or faster approach to your reverse diet post-diet. So what I want you to do next is check out this top video where I talk about the pros and cons of a slower and faster approach, how to handle things based on how fast you're losing at the end of your cut, and everything you need to consider both mentally and physically to set yourself up for the summer you want with the body you want. So check that out next. Otherwise, I think you'll like this bottom video instead, and I'll see you in that other video.